Hello everybody, today we're talking about Italian. If you're new to my channel, I am a native Italian speaker, and since I've been helping foreigners to learn my language, I have noticed some mistakes that are made over and over again. Not big mistakes, but they can be a signal that you don't fully understand how Italian works. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The mistakes that we are talking about today are those regarding the past tense. So, when deciding what form to use, you need to consider two things: when the action happened and how it happened. Meaning, is it something that happened a long time ago, or has it happened recently? Or was it a punctual action, or was it something that lasted for a period of your life? And last but not least, what if you don't want to specify when it happened? You don't want to address the beginning or end of the action. You just want to focus on its duration. There are several different ways to talk about the past, 5 to be precise, but today we're focusing on the most common ones. The first one is this, Passato Prossimo. The second one is the Imperfetto, and the third one, the Passato Remoto. The Passato Prossimo is more or less like the present perfect in English. It is a compound tense, which means it needs the auxiliary verb to be formed correctly. What we need then is the auxiliary in the conjugated form plus the past participle of the verb that we need. And I mean the verb that gives the main meaning to the sentence and needs to respect the number and gender of the subject when the auxiliary is essere. Just a note about essere and avere. Many people ask me, why do you have two different auxiliaries and there is no apparent reason to, decide to use one over the other? But if you look closely, you will see that essere proceeds mainly in transitive verbs, while avere is used with transitive verbs. What is the difference between transitive and intransitive verbs? The first ones are verbs that can be followed by a direct object, while the second ones can't. But when do we use this tense? So, as the name itself tells us, it is used to refer to a past that is not too far back in time. It means maybe yesterday or an hour ago, as for example in un'ora fa ho mangiato un biscotto. But it is also the right one to talk about something that happened a long time ago, but that has some kind of effects in the present. So, for example, lei è partita per Londra 3 anni fa, meaning she left for London 3 years ago and she is still there. It also has a more punctual aspect, which means that the action we're talking about didn't really have a specific duration in time. It was quick. It finished right after it started, as in lui ha chiuso la porta. The action that the imperfetto describes is considered from a different point of view, namely during the duration of said action, without any reference to its beginning and or purpose. The fact that there is no time reference here makes this tense pretty vague, and it also allows it to be used for a variety of different purposes. But again, when do we use it? 1. To talk about an action that happened during a period of time, implying its duration on the timeline, as for example in quando ero bambino. 2. To talk about a habit or a repetitive action that we did in the past. Just like when we went to the swimming pool every Monday just because our moms forced us to do. As in, andavo in piscina ogni lunedì. In some cases, though, it can have more interesting uses. For example, when we want to describe an action paying attention to the dynamic dimension of it. And in this case, it is used exactly as the Passato Remoto that we'll see in just about a minute. An example would be all'improvviso prendeva la pistola e gli sparava, which means basically the same thing as all'improvviso prese la pistola e gli sparò. Or maybe a hypothetical action that we thought about but never really completed, as for example in se lo sapevo, blah blah blah. Even though I would use the subjunctive here, probably, and that's a totally different video. The Passato Remoto is more similar to the simple past in English. It refers to an action that happened in the past, that is concluded, that has no relation with the present. Just a little side note. This tense here is used all the time in books, probably because it's the best one for narration. But remember that in spoken language, things are a bit different. In northern Italy, we never use it, even when we're referring to something that happened 200 years ago. While in southern Italy, they only use this one, meaning that if they are going to talk about something that they did this morning, they are going to use the Passato Remoto. So yeah, pay attention to that. So, to sum up, the Passato Prossimo will be used when talking about a punctual action that happened in the recent past and or has effects on the present. The Imperfetto conveys a different aspect of the action, its duration or repetitiveness, without info about a specific time, which makes it vague. The Passato Remoto refers to a more distant past that has no relation with the present. And remember where the Passato Remoto and Passato Prossimo are used the most. So, which one do you need to learn? Let me know in the comments down below which one you think is easiest or most difficult one. If you have any questions about Italian, don't hesitate and ask me. And smash that like button if you think that this video was useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.